Hello, Honors Biology folks, and this is Miss Dagenford, and this video should help you get a head start on the lab that we're going to be doing Monday and Tuesday, depending on your class period. And this is the lab that's going to be modeling natural selection, and you are going to need a calculator. I will have some available in class. And of course, I'm going to have a lab handout. Now, fourth period, you already have it. Seventh and eighth period with the early dismissal, you did not. But I made a Google Doc for you to read. So this weekend, your job is to read the lab and watch this video. And then there's a Google form that just has a few questions, just so I know that you are ready. This lab can take a little bit of time to get used to. It has a slow learning curve at first, but once you get it, it's very easy and a lot of fun. So, we're going to be modeling natural selection in a population of butterflies. And the butterflies in this case are going to be little paper cutouts. One year we spent some time punching out these little butterflies in different colors. So, one thing you'll notice when you read the lab, butterflies of each color. Now, some of you are going to have a different mix of colors than others, and that's because of the background that you're going to have. The background is going to be a piece of fabric that represents an environment, flowers and trees and bushes and all sorts of things that the butterflies are resting on. So I've got a little sample here, like here's a piece of fabric, and I have put butterflies of 3 different colors on this little picture here. Now, you're going to scatter them randomly in your environment. One person is going to do that while the hunter is going to turn their back so they don't see where they've spread their butterflies. And then after you have spread all of the butterflies, the hunter is going to turn around, and for a certain amount of time, they're going to hunt the butterflies using a pair of tweezers. And the idea is that by picking them off the piece of fabric, you are quote unquote eating them. You have hunted them successfully. Now, as you just look briefly at this fabric, you might pick out this one, and oh, there's a purple one, and then there's another yellow. Um, but maybe you didn't see at first that there are some red ones right there. And then oh, there's another yellow. Oh, I see that one. And then the amount of time is actually pretty short. You don't have a whole minute to do this. We're just gonna let you hunt for a little bit. And so you're gonna after you're done hunting, you're gonna count however many are left on the piece of fabric. Now you could do this a couple of different ways. You can literally count all of the survivors, or you can count how many you caught, knowing that you put 20 of each color down on the environment and you caught 3. So maybe you only caught 3 red, and so we know that 17 are surviving. So um, then you fill out and calculate. And this is where there can be a little bit of frustration at first. You're going to be calculating the frequency of your survivors. And in order to do that, you're going to count and group the survivors according to the color, record the numbers on your data, and then once you have that, you're going to figure out your frequencies. And so the frequency of survivors. So if 17 red survived out of 83 total survivors, then you're going to calculate that out, and that's going to be your frequency. So I did the first generation just as a mock-up. Let's say you have red butterflies, yellow, orange, blue, and purple. And blue, blue did not do well. Blue, you only have 5 survivors out of 20. But let's say red did very well. You have 19 survivors out of 20. So once you have your numbers, you find your frequency of the survivors by using the total number of survivors. So look at this column and notice that for red, 19 out of 53 survived. Yellow, 15 out of 59. 12 out of 59 for orange. 12 out of 59. And then here's our blue. Only 5 out of 59 survived. And then purple wasn't too far behind. 8 out of 59 survived. Now, once you have your frequency, notice red increased to 0.32, blue went down to 0.08. Now, what does this indicate? Well, you hunted butterflies, and what we're modeling is the fact that if they are gone, they cannot pass down their genes to the next generation. That influences the gene frequencies of the next generation. So the way we're going to mathematically show this is by multiplying our frequencies by 100. So we're going to get 32, 25, 28, and 13. Now, I did this a couple of times, and goodness knows I may have made a mistake, but it should add up to 100. So these numbers represent the butterflies that you want alive on your environment in the next round. So you want 32 red, 25 yellow, 20 orange, 8 blue, and 13 purple. And notice the red went up because more of them survived in the previous generation. The blue went down significantly because they were picked off. So the only trick of this lab is that you need to go back to your original survivors, right here, the survivors, and then you need to make sure that you have the right number alive at the beginning. And this can be a little tricky for students, so I want to illustrate. If you have 19 red surviving butterflies in the previous generation, you just want to get it up to 32. Now, you can shake off all of the butterflies. That can be a little tedious, so let me give you a little trick here. If you know there are 19 red on your little environment, and you need to get 32, well, you just need to make up the difference. If you know there are 15 yellow that survived that are on your environment, you just need to add 10 more yellow. So it's a little trick that you don't have to get rid of all the butterflies on your environment. But mainly I just wanted to show you how to do the math involved, and give you a little practice for that. And so again, so a couple of things to always remember. The number of butterflies that you start off with should always end up adding up to 100. If they don't, then you've done something incorrectly. And it's easy to do. This, like I said, this lab takes a bit of getting used to. And by that same token, the population frequencies should always add up to 1. So those are some things to watch out for. You always want to start off with 100, and you will notice the numbers shift if you have butterflies that blend in very well. That number should be different. Now, a couple of things to just, be careful about. This isn't meant to be a competition for how fast you can pick off your butterflies. And remember, if you're a hunter, you're not going to spend time trying to game the system and trying to pick off, the butter. You want to eat, so you want to look for the butterflies that you can see. You're not going to try and make it a game of destroying the butterflies of one color. If you do that, you're going to really not be modeling correctly. So your job is within those 20 seconds to hunt the butterflies that you see. Um, and so you are done with the video. You are going to make sure you finish the Google form. This is for all 3 classes. And make sure you read that lab carefully. And have a good weekend. Hope you get some rest.